The man deliberately threw the ball far away, making the dog run to fetch it. But when the dog came back with the ball in its mouth, he took the chance to board the plane. The moment he stepped into the cabin, he urged the flight attendant to close the door quickly. Only then did the dog realize its owner never intended to take it along. Everyone thought it would leave in sorrow, but just as the flight attendant announced that the plane could take off, the dog suddenly dashed forward despite the danger, trying to block the plane with its body. The pilot saw this and had no choice but to brake immediately. The dog circled to the side of the plane, barking at its owner, begging him to take it with him. Its cries drew everyone's attention, yet only its owner sat there coldly without the slightest reaction. The plane started up again, and the dog was completely abandoned by its owner. Before it could recover from the heartbreak, airport security rushed over angrily trying to catch it. It had no choice but to flee in panic, and even though it slipped through the wire fence and escaped by luck, the guards still chased after it relentlessly. At the last critical moment, the dog ran into a maintenance room. Fortunately, the mechanic who saw it didn't call security. He even led the guard in the opposite direction on purpose. Once he confirmed the coast was clear, he gently placed a bowl of water in front of the dog, and his gentle gaze made the dog slowly let down its guard. Just then, the sky rumbled again with the sound of a plane landing. The dog thought its owner had come back for it, and despite its exhaustion, it sprinted madly toward the airport. It ran to the bottom of the boarding steps, but saw no sign of its owner, and was even driven away by the flight attendant. Some passengers purposely stepped on its paw. The sharp pain left it terrified and helpless. But even so, it stubbornly stayed at the airport, watching plane after plane land, believing that its owner would surely come back for it. Its persistence was full of trust in humans, but it also became a problem for the airport. As complaints increased, the staff had no choice but to call security. Facing the uniformed men surrounding it like they were hunting a wild animal, the dog finally showed fear, and its escape route was completely blocked. In the end, Palma was roughly forced onto a shuttle bus, and the door slammed shut. The captain assured the passengers they would take care of it soon, but he didn't notice that a young boy who had just gotten off a plane was watching everything. The boy quietly made up his mind to save it. When the guards were off guard, Daniel crawled into the bus through the window. But Palma, having just been hurt, stiffened instantly, growling like a frightened wild beast, its throat rumbling warnings. Yet it still never truly attacked him. When the door opened, Palma bolted out like a wild horse, disappearing into the crowd in an instant. The captain was furious and rushed at Daniel, raising his hand to punish him, but the mechanic stepped in just in time. As they argued, the pilot hurried over, and he happened to be Daniel's father. Seeing this, the captain could only back down. But Daniel's cold attitude made it obvious to everyone that this father-son relationship was strained. Daniel had lived with his mother since his parents divorced, and only after his mother passed away recently was he forced to come to this unfamiliar city to live with his father. But this father, who only knew how to work and not how to care, made Daniel feel nothing but distance and resistance toward him. Late at night, while his father was asleep, Daniel quietly slipped out of the house and ran all the way back to the airport. He wanted to buy a ticket and leave the city, but the ticket agent refused because he was underage. Just as he was falling into despair, he actually crawled into the plane's landing gear compartment, thinking he could leave immediately. But Palma, who had been staying at the airport this whole time, suddenly appeared and barked at him wildly. Daniel tried his best to calm it down, but the barking drew the attention of the staff. Seeing them closing in, Daniel could only jump down and run away with Palma in a panic. He didn't